I'm your helicopter pilot, Gary Ansel. Would you like to take a tour in our helicopter over Los Angeles today? Come on, follow me. We'll have a good time today. We're going to be flying over some very interesting places.
In 1542, the explorer Cabrillo claimed the coast of California for Spain. The village of Los Angeles was founded by 44 settlers in 1781. Today, it is home to more than 9 million people of all cultural and ethnic backgrounds. The greater Los Angeles area is made up of 87 independent communities. A complicated web of multi-lane highways covers this melting pot that includes wealth, glamour, as well as poverty and decay. The beaches of Malibu are as much a part of Los Angeles as the ghettos of Compton. Los Angeles has become the entertainment center of the United States and is home to many record labels, television, and movie companies. It's probably the world's most famous billboard. Built in 1923, it actually had 4 more letters. A real estate agent used it to advertise a new subdivision called Hollywoodland in letters 15 meters tall. After years of neglect, the monument was restored for $250,000. In 1926, Jesse Lasky and Adolph Zukor built Paramount Studios in the heart of Hollywood. The studio has worked with stars like Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, and Elvis, and did The Godfather and Star Trek movies. Today, visitors can sit in on television show tapings.
I had a really brilliant coach. There are people who teach the bullwhip, which I didn't know, and it was such a stroke of luck to stumble upon this person because it added, I mean, the whip was always in the script, but his style of using the whip was so beautiful and so actually beautiful and very kind of sexual and very kind of feminine in its own way. But then you can also turn it and make it very lethal.
When Michelle Pfeiffer starred in Batman Returns, she learned the bullwhip with the best, Anthony DeLongis.
I wanted to do something for her that be as Catwoman. I wanted to try and combine that quality. Most people, when they use the whip, I call it cowboying the whip, which is very heavy and muscular. Yee-haw, just a lot of noise. For her character, I wanted it to be, to have that idea that I can scratch you and it's very dangerous, but at the same time, I can caress you with this and it'd be very seductive. So she'd have that kind of sensuality that a cat has.
But he teaches more than the bullwhip. DeLongis choreographs stage combat for many different European and Asian martial arts styles.
There we are, we're creating the illusion of a violation, if you will, that should make the audience very uncomfortable.
Like many aspects of Hollywood, stage combat builds the illusion of reality, but without putting the actors in harm's way. It's not for actors only. Fans can take fighting lessons with DeLongis as well.
Well, you want to throw that knee, don't you? Soon, but not yet. Okay? All right.
There are a lot of things going on. What you're doing is you're building safety factors in as you go, and you're making them part of the story, so they actually help you tell a more dynamic, a more theatrical story, and it's clearer to the audience. In a way, in film, you're able to focus the audience on exactly what you want them to see, because you only shoot it that way. So you really control what the audience sees, so you really are able to manipulate them more successfully, if you will. You're able to, reach in and make them respond to you.
I love that part.
And so do many fans when they see Anthony DeLongis' well-choreographed fight scenes. Today, Time Warner is the largest media company in the world, a long way from its humble 1896 beginnings. Pioneers of sound technology and experts on gangster movies of the 30s, Warner Brothers also brought classic cartoon character Bugs Bunny to life. The making of a Hollywood movie includes more than just the visual elements, such as actors and special effects. One of the major behind-the-scenes contributors is the composer of the musical score for the film. German composer Hans Zimmer is one of Hollywood's best.
Funktion von der Musik ist, die Sachen zu machen, die man nicht.
The purpose of the musical score is to take care of those things that cannot be expressed elegantly in images or words, inner voice, speed, rhythm, or suspense. I mean, have you ever seen a horror movie without music?
Musik gesehen und es ist überhaupt nichts los. Aber auch das
The complicated thing about the score is that it's just so difficult to explain music in words. And if it's not achieved right, it can go totally wrong. Quite a few very good movies have failed because of the music.
sind ganz von der Musik versaut worden.
Since coming to Los Angeles in the early 80s, the classically trained Zimmer has composed music for some of Hollywood's biggest hits, like Rain Man, The Lion King, and Thelma and Louise.
Ja, Thelma and Louise zum Beispiel.
Take Thelma and Louise. Here we have a German composer working with a British director, and it's the blues. Through their work on Thelma and Louise, the German Zimmer and British director Ridley Scott prove once again that international artists are an important part of Hollywood's spirit.
Crap.
In 1912, former bookkeeper Carl Lemla started Universal in the Los Angeles suburb of Burbank. He and studio mogul Irving Thalberg worked with W.C. Fields and Alfred Hitchcock. Hit movies include Jaws and E.T. In 1990, the company was bought by Matsushita.
Some people think I'm Julia Roberts, Kim Basinger, Marilyn, or Madonna, but I'm really Shelley Michelle.
Professional model Shelley Michelle is a successful member of one of Hollywood's newest professions, the body double. Body doubles are used in many different situations while a movie is being filmed. For example, when an actress doesn't do a nude scene herself, or when there is no time to do a scene that does not feature her famous face.
Basically, I was just there to make Julia feel comfortable. And she had a script like this thick to memorize. And she didn't have time to be doing a menial shot of the leg or putting on bracelets.
Her successful role as body double for Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman led to her becoming a professional actress.
Well, I started out at about $750 a week. And now I'm making anywhere from $750 to about $2,200 a day.
But being a body double requires one to be super fit.
I never really compared myself, you know. I said, Richard, look at my bicep. You know, we never did that. Richard's in great shape.
Even Richard Gere had a body double. Actors as well as actresses need body doubles for many different reasons.
Well, a lot of time it saves them time and energy. We can shoot two things at one time. While Shelley and I were body doubling the stars, let's say driving the Lotus, the expensive sports car around Hollywood, they could be in the soundstage doing, you know, the scenes that they have to do with the dialogue. So a lot of times it's nothing to do with their body or anything else. It's just a time saver.
But these body doubles really don't have to be so modest, because they are beautiful people making the beautiful people of Hollywood look even better. Columbia was started as a distribution network by the Coen brothers in 1924. It was bought by Sony in 1989 and changed its name to Sony Pictures Entertainment in 1991. Among its big hits are Bridge over the River Kwai, Lawrence of Arabia, and Easy Rider. Horror movies are a Hollywood tradition. People spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year to be scared by movies, so the special effects better be good.
Where's my gun?
Hello, my name is David Miller. I'm from David Miller Studio. I'm the real David Miller. This is Freddy Krueger as a baby from Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 5, which was called The Dream Child, and he was the Dream Child. He's a mechanical head. Basically, he's a puppet that works off a person's hand, but the face, all the facial expressions are mechanical. It's radio-controlled motors inside.
But how did Mr. Miller get interested in creating scary special effects like for the evil Freddy Krueger?
Since I was a kid, I used to draw monsters and creatures on paper. And then I discovered that you can make them in 3 dimensions. And then as the years went on, I discovered you can make them move, make them become real. So I decided that's the direction I wanted to go.
Miller is an expert at turning foam rubber into realistic-looking mannequins. Sometimes they look too realistic.
From Wild at Heart, David Lynch film. These are actually the things that caused it to get an X rating. They had to cut these things out. They were a little too graphic. They said they looked too real. But that's a compliment to me. But then they cut it out of the film, so it doesn't help me much.
But great effects sometimes rely on machines to make them come alive.
This one runs around on the ground, so he has a lot of little motors behind him. And they're all shot from angles where you can't see all the little motors inside. He was like a little radio-controlled car.
But Miller's creations don't always intend to terrify. Sometimes they reveal a playful sense of humor. Then 20-year-old Fox Pictures merged with 20th Century Studios in 1935. The new company went on to make some of Hollywood's greatest hits, like Cleopatra, The Sound of Music, and Star Wars. In 1985, Fox was bought by Australian media giant Rupert Murdoch. An actor's skill can make or break a movie. But where do actors learn these skills? Many attend the prestigious Lee Strasberg Theater Institute. Strasberg was America's greatest teacher of the method, also known as method acting.
Smell, taste, touch. Okay? If you're going to touch, really explore it. If you're going to smell something, really explore. Only with the senses. We are not teaching you how to feel, we're teaching you how to express.
I think if you want to be an actor, you have to be acting all the time. You have to, whether it's in a play or whether it's on a street corner, you have to exercise. You have to have the love of acting, which means you'll do it.
The main challenge of acting is to make the audience believe, if only for a moment, what they see on the screen.
I'm sorry, are you okay?
Method acting is telling the truth of the character as simply as you know how, as opposed to telling a lie as convincingly as you know how.
Disney moved their operations from Kansas City to California in 1923. Disney's Snow White was the first ever full-length animated feature. Although they still have cartoon hits like The Lion King, Disney also makes live-action movies through Touchstone and Hollywood Pictures. Not all Hollywood stars are glamorous and glitzy. Some tend to be more, shall we say, down to earth.
Hello. Sometimes people wonder why I do that, and I introduce myself as an entomologist, and I say, you have to excuse me, I have butterflies in my stomach.
Stephen Kutcher is an entomologist, a scientist who studies insects and arachnids, like spiders and scorpions. Why then would a man who collects creepy, crawly things be so important to many of Hollywood's biggest directors, like John Carpenter?
Different species. These are different species of tarantulas. And the opportunity of working on The Exorcist, too, came up. I hadn't thought about working in the movie industry, but I saw, after working in the movies, that there was a definite need for an entomologist, somebody who understood insects, because most people were animal trainers. And so what I did was I added the entomology twist to it, and I understood insects and could do certain things that animal trainers couldn't. And I also noticed that about 1 out of every 2 to 3 movies has an insect in it or a reference to an insect in it. I said, that's a lot of movies. So I found work. People ask, aren't you a little concerned about frightening people when you make movies like Arachnophobia and Prince of Darkness and movies that will frighten people? And I say, when those people go to the movies, they know they're going to be frightened. It's not a documentary. They go because they're paying money to be frightened.
Mr. Kutcher's control over scary creatures is simply remarkable.
And wave. Wave to the camera. Good spider. Another job for me in the movies is working with the stars. I've worked with many, many stars. And part of my job is to make them feel comfortable. I wouldn't want them to get hurt. For example, you don't want a major star to get stung or bitten, or their face might get swollen, or they might have a reaction, because that could be a serious problem. and it could delay the picture. And so my first job is to make sure that everything is safe, that the animals don't get hurt, the people don't get hurt, and my second job is to do the shot. So what I do is I would never do anything to a star that I wouldn't do to myself, and I usually try things out on myself or a volunteer. See, it's going to stay on my nose.
Stephen Kutcher is Hollywood's greatest bug man.
Hi there, welcome to Harvey's Antiques. My name is Mark Schwartz and I'm the president of Harvey's Antiques.
Harvey's Antiques is more than a typical store full of memories. They supply props for Hollywood movies.
Basically, most props are just used for visual technique. Most of the things you actually don't see. Every once in a while you'll see an actor pick something up and it'll be a nice collectible, a nice strange object, and that'll be from a place like us. Most of the time, you really don't see what we rent.
And plenty of big movies have featured collectibles from Harvey's.
Well, the current ones would be something like Barton Fink, Fisher King, more notable, Ghostbusters.
Although most movies have multi-million-dollar budgets, the producers can't afford to buy everything they need. So they rent items like clocks and furniture.
They could pay somewhere from 45 to 65% of the retail cost.
The nostalgic and specialty items at Harvey's Antiques can make a movie look great. And because many of these items are for sale, they can also make a private home look great. Hollywood stars have a special relationship with their cars. Some might call it love. James Garner, star of Maverick, talks of his.
Oh, well, I'm a Ferrari lover, always have been a Ferrari lover. I've owned a few, and you see some beautiful, beautiful cars today.
Just as the stars of Hollywood seem more glamorous than real life, the cars of movies should seem more glamorous as well. At Hollywood Picture Vehicles, movie makers come from all over town to rent that special car that will complete the visual image they are producing. Leading man of The Specialist, Sylvester Stallone's use of automobiles is central to his other artistic passion, painting.
I paint in my garage as I'm coming out in the morning to get in my car. I stop, I work, I get in my car, I come home at night. I see the paint, I'll work another 15 minutes. So literally, it's as I get out of my car, paint in the house, into the car, paint. I mean, I have no time, but sometimes it works because you don't have a lot of time to think about it. You just attack it, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Classic automobiles, foreign automobiles, custom automobiles. They're all beautiful, but actor James Coburn can't decide which one he likes best.
Today I'm judging. I'm here looking at all these beautiful automobiles, trying to make a judgment. I mean, how do you judge these things? You know, like the best of the show. There's so many really fine automobiles.
Perhaps the perfect car, a long old black Cadillac.
Okay, good little girl. Come with her, Daddy. Back, right. Come on, baby. Come on.
Communication is Robert Easton's passion as well as his business. The former actor is a sought-after dialect coach who helps actors master an accent. This talent for languages seems to run in his family.
This is my grandfather, Henry Close. Originally it was Clois, and now it's Close. And he was born in the United States, but he was bilingual German and English. These are 6 different characters that I did in my younger acting days. You can see short hair, long hair. And the one in the center on the lower row, that's the real me.
So then I started learning all of the British dialects. I studied phonetics at University College in London while I was working as an actor in England. And eventually I took an advanced course at Cambridge University from Stanley Ellis, who was the great expert on English dialects. And then I started learning all of the European and the Middle Eastern and the Oriental dialects. And pretty soon, other actors started saying, "Hey, would you teach me?"
Get your motor running out the highway, looking for adventure, and whatever comes our way.
I worked with the creatures, with the puppeteers to get them to synchronize the mouth movements on Falkor and the Steinbeißer and all of them.
Oh, ich hasse diesen Teil der Geschichte.
Robert Easton's talents are featured in The Never-Ending Story, Part 3. The Virgin Communications Group brings you the world of entertainment. Virgin Interactive, exciting, innovative software. Virgin Records, find popular and classical music. Virgin Travel Group, international holiday choices. Virgin Record Stores, comprehensive selections in all musical genres. Virgin Megastores, where they all come together. Chairman of the Virgin Group, Richard Branson, explains the Megastore concept.
I think the most special thing about any company is its staff, and we've got a good bunch of people who work here. They're people who know their music. And so although the store's large, we've got lots of little specialist stores, blues sections and rock sections and classical sections and R&B sections and so on.
Virgin Interactive Entertainment, the newest offering from the Virgin Communications Group on the cutting edge of technology. Virgin develops programs with full motion, lifelike graphics, booming CD quality sound, and the most intense action to be had. Virgin Interactive Entertainment provides innovative software for the 21st century. Virgin Interactive Entertainment. There is nothing virtual about this reality. Cowboy boots in the big city of Los Angeles? It's not as strange as it sounds. Hollywood is as important to the making of the cowboy image as the original cattle ranchers of the West.
Lot of stars. I do have, for example, the boss, Bruce Springsteen. You can see here Gérard Depardieu, Eddie Murphy, Stallone, Etta James, this lady. She's Canadian, she's star too. This always she buy 3 pair. This is American Star TV, Vanna White. Yeah, most of the stars they buy their boots here.
To many, cowboy boots and Western movies are a unique and essential part of the American culture. Clint Eastwood, Oscar-winning director and star of Unforgiven, explains why.
When I was a child growing up, I used to watch Westerns a lot, and it's one of the only true American art forms, unfortunately. It's America being a fairly recent country in world history. They don't have too many original art forms of their own, and the Western movie just happens to be one.
But not only Americans shaped the cowboy image.
I sell the most expensive boots in the world. Lucchese, it's Italian family. They immigrate 1883 to Texas, 3 generations. They make the best boots in the world, the most boots in the world.
The castle-like luxury hotel on Sunset Boulevard was built in 1927 and is a well-kept secret. Chateau Marmont is a favorite with those stars who prefer to keep a low profile during their stays in Los Angeles. Greta Garbo, Marilyn Monroe, Jim Morrison, and many others have appreciated the hotel's discretion. Over 3 million people visit Dodger Stadium each year to watch the professional baseball team, the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Los Angeles area offers many other opportunities to experience professional athletics, such as baseball's California Angels, the National Football League's Raiders and Rams, the Lakers and Clippers from pro basketball, and the National Hockey League members, the Los Angeles Kings, as well as the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. Pier J in Long Beach is home to the world's largest cruise ship. Queen Mary is owned by the Disney Corporation. 3-hour-long guided tours offer various views of this historic luxury liner. Right beside it rests the Spruce Goose, sheltered by a gigantic dome made of aluminum. The plane was designed by billionaire Howard Hughes. It is made entirely of wood, as tall as a 9-story building, and weighs 200 metric tons. The plane's wingspan is an amazing 90 meters, but the huge plane was hardly ever used. It was only flown once. The futuristic dome was recently put to a different use. For the filming of the science fiction adventure Stargate, German director Roland Emmerich had the hangar turned into the world's largest soundstage.
One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Action!
In Long Beach, right by the Queen Mary, is the world's largest hangar. It was turned into a soundstage for the filming of the blockbuster science fiction adventure Stargate, starring Kurt Russell and James Spader. Hollywood gives opportunities to international filmmakers. Stargate is the biggest movie ever made by German director Roland Emmerich.
It's not so much in my veins, it's simply like I have few possibilities I don't have anywhere else, and I think that's like the main reason why a lot of like foreign directors work here. There's simply that they can do what they want to do is like do a certain kind of movies, and the only way to get these movies done or like financed or, you know, what people who can finance them are all here, even if they're like foreign companies, they're here.
I'm here in case you succeed.
Leading man Kurt Russell, who stars as Colonel Jack O'Neill, talks about what to expect when seeing Stargate on the big screen.
It's actually a picture that's, in I think, everyday terms, not really an action picture in that there aren't, you know, people getting blasted all over the place. Not until the very end, anyway. I mean, we do our best. There's a few limbs that fly, but no, it's more of a mystery and a suspense, a little bit of a suspenseful feeling as to what we will find on the other end of the Stargate.
Jackson!
Stargate is an entrance into another dimension of movie-going excitement. And Hollywood is the gateway to the stars, where fans can actually experience movies in the making. Covering 300,000 square meters, Disneyland in Anaheim is where children's dreams come true. The park is open year-round and offers more than 60 attractions. During an orientation tour on an authentic 19th century steam engine, visitors get the big picture. But going into more detail takes at least 2 days, because Disneyland can offer much more than just Mickey Mouse and Bambi. Wild West shows, knighting tournaments, and whitewater trips are as much a part of the experience as time travel to places like Tomorrowland or Videopolis. Disneyland is big. People that try to explore it without a map can easily get lost in the land of unlimited fantasies. In 1927, Sid Grauman built the luxurious Grauman's Chinese Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. Numerous movie stars left their hand and footprints in the cement at the theater's front gate. Later, the theater was sold and is now called Mann's Chinese, but it still serves as a wonderful first-night theater. Tattoos are no longer only for sailors and daredevils. At Sunset Strip Tattoo, the beautiful people of Hollywood are also now coming in for the latest trend of durable body art.
We tattoo a lot of stars, a lot of actors, and a lot of the rock and roll people.
Although this studio offers an incredible variety of tattoos, some continue to be more popular than others.
Hearts and roses are still the bread and butter of the industry. But in that we have done a lot of more people who are in the public eye, a lot more models, a lot more actors, a lot of people who are out there being seen. And it has become more and more accepted by the public.
Sunset Strip Tattoo is the tattoo studio of choice for the stars. When the terrific trio got together to make a little night spot, did they imagine it would become Planet Hollywood? On opening night, the paparazzi showed up to catch a glimpse of celebrities, such as international singing star Stevie Wonder, the Terminators' Linda Hamilton, and Christian Slater from Interview with the Vampire. The glitzy restaurant and nightclub chain is owned by superstars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and Bruce Willis. Here's what the owner said at the opening.
The largest crowd I ever saw. It was amazing.
It was huge. It was monstrous. It was gigantic. I mean, it was so many people out there.
Planet Hollywood can be found all over the planet, in international hotspots like London and Paris. Patrons never know when one of the owners might stop by and make sure everyone is having a great time. Planet Hollywood, a super restaurant owned by superstars. California is the home to the Roy Rogers Museum. Roy was the most famous singing cowboy in all of Hollywood.
One Christmas, me and my buddy was playing up in the woods. We were about 9 years old, I guess, and got to wrestling, and I lost my knife on Christmas Day, and I like to die. That really got me. I cried for 2 weeks, and my dad finally brought me another knife. And from that day on, and for the way I was raised up until I got started working again, working in the shoe factory in Cincinnati, I never had anything, and I just couldn't throw anything away.
Roy collects many things, ranging from set decorations to real firearms to motion pictures in order to keep the myth of the Wild West going. But Roy made more than movies. He had a long-running television series, a line of comic books, and there's a chain of fast food restaurants named after him. Roy remembers his loyal and talented horse, Trigger.
But he was the greatest horse, I guess, that ever came along. He could just do anything after I had him for a while and trained him.
But what set Roy apart from the other singing cowboys were his yodeling skills. Roy Rogers, movie star, television star, businessman, and don't forget cowboy, for he will always be remembered for being the king of the singing cowboys.
I appreciate the interest that the people have, But being 80-some years old, a fellow said to me here, about a year ago, he says, "Hey, Roy," says, "how's it feel to be 80? I said, "I don't know, I just got that way." So I have a sense of humor on something like that because I'm thankful for every day I get.
For outdoor fun, the beautiful people of Hollywood drive down to the beach. But this is not an average beach. The oceanfront in Venice is an unusual place where swimming is not the most important activity. The community of Venice in the western part of Los Angeles is popular with artists. Many of them live there. During the week, it's a quiet place, but on the weekends, the boardwalk comes alive. When the bistros and cafes open, they all show up. Vendors, inline skaters, basketball players, jugglers, and amateur bands come down to the beach and promenade facing the ocean. Who knows, will the next Michael Jordan come from the playgrounds on Venice Beach? Street entertainers perform for tourists while making some extra money. Vendors offer sporting goods, novelties, and mementos. Venice Beach represents the California ideal of sun and fun as a lifestyle. Steven Spielberg, director and producer of such hits as Jurassic Park and Schindler's List, lives in this estate which is estimated to be worth $10 million. What makes his home different from those of his other wealthy neighbors is the Black Forest. He built a miniature version of the beautiful German forest region in his own backyard. Actor Sylvester Stallone, star of The Specialist and the Rocky movies, owns this stunning home which has a magnificent view of the Santa Monica Mountains. Perched on a mountaintop, he certainly doesn't have to worry about noisy neighbors. Stallone can take out his sporting passions on his private tennis court and swimming pool whenever he wants. The mansion cost about $8 million and is part of a community most of whose residents work in the entertainment business. The picturesque coastal community of Marina del Rey is located in the southwestern part of Los Angeles. The largest sports and leisure harbor in the world, it has room for more than 6,000 boats. Whether it be jet skis, yachts, or Mississippi steamboats, if it floats, it can be found here. But not only weekend captains and fishermen enjoy coming to Marina del Rey. Many seafood restaurants offer culinary pleasures as well.